is Stacy Wood. I am a Public Information Officer and Communications Manager for Buncombe County Government. Thank you for tuning in to the September 3rd Community Briefing. As you may already know, the 86th Community Briefing, will be our final Helene Community Briefing that Buncombe County Government will host. So we began these briefings before Helene came into the region during the predecessor rain events prior to Helene. And I do want to say it feels a little odd for Lillian Govis, my boss, the Buncombe County Communications and Public Engagement Director, to not be the one to be here to close out this final chapter in our Helene journey. But I do want to take this opportunity. I'm sure she's watching from afar, wherever she's at. She is out of the office today. I do want to acknowledge her leadership and effort in bringing these community briefings to you, her leadership and organization in hosting these events, as well as the effort from the team behind the scenes has been extraordinary. So thank you for your work. And Buncombe County Government has prioritized these briefings as a time to speak with you directly, to bring you the information that we have, good or bad, to make sure that you're empowered and to facilitate a common operating picture with our community. So thanks to all who have been a part of this effort. Again, this is our 86th briefing, and today we have quite a slate of speakers who are joining us. We'll just go through the list quickly. Avril Pender, County Manager, Buncombe County Government. We'll have Jonathan Knight, Town Manager, Town of Biltmore Forest. Ryan Cole, Assistant Emergency Services Director, Buncombe County Government. Sheriff Quentin Miller. Savannah Parrish, Town Manager, Town of Montreat. Shannon Tuck, Town Manager, Town of Woodfin. John Coffey, Fire Chief, Town of Black Mountain. We'll have a message from Mayor Esther Manheimer, City of Asheville. We'll also have our friends from the City of Asheville, Deborah Campbell, City Manager, and Clay Chandler, PIO for City of Asheville Water Resources Department. We'll also have another special guest, Colonel Brad Morgan with the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. And we will conclude today's briefing with a message from Amanda Edwards, Chair of Buncombe County Board of Commissioners. So if you've listened to any of our community briefings, you may know that we usually keep them factual, since many of you tune in to get timely updates and resources for yourselves and your loved ones. But today, for the last one, for now, we want to take a moment to reflect, to say thank you, and to look ahead to the future. And with that, we'll kick it off. And here is County Manager Avril Pender.
Good morning. It's hard to believe that's almost a year has passed since Tropical Storm Helene struck our community last September, and we continue to navigate its deep and lasting impacts. Thank you to our Board of County Commissioners for your leadership and support at a time when your advocacy greatly mattered. Thank you also to our state and federal partners who continue to provide programs to help our residents recover, and to our local nonprofits and city partners, a huge thank you. Before we look into the future, we want to take a moment to recognize our accomplishments. Early on, we shared with you our 6 recovery priorities. Here are just some of the progress we've made in these areas. Natural and cultural resources, we have completed 477 field visits as part of the Emergency Watershed Protection Program. We continue to prioritize the safe reopening of our remaining closed parks with resiliency in mind. Infrastructure and access, we have received 344 applications to Hazard Mitigation Grant Program and 892 applications for the State Private Road and Bridge Program, and we've completed 55 landslide inspections. In our housing area, staff has completed over 2,000 damage assessments and issued more than 600 emergency repair permits. More than 1,500 households have been approved for rental assistance through FEMA. Debris management, our partners removed over 3 million cubic yards of debris on the right-of-ways, private properties, and waterways in Buncombe County. This includes processing over 6,000 applications for private property debris removal. The first demolitions of destroyed buildings began in August, and those will continue. We will have United States Army Corps of Engineers here to provide a final update, though their work will go on after today. In economic revitalization, 137 small businesses owners in Buncombe County received grants for more than $1.5 million. And in Health and Human Services, at the height of the storm, we opened 4 shelters, opened 8 community care stations throughout the community, and provided over 48,000 showers and 61 loads of laundry, and dispersed over $2.3 million in disaster energy assistance. The One Buncombe call center at 828-250-6100 and the Helene Resource Center will remain open between 8 a.m. and 5 p.m. Monday through Friday to help survivors. And now, as we look to the future, our focus remains on strengthening and making the community more resilient. We are finalizing our Helene recovery and strategic plans, which include recovery projects and strategies to address them. We heard from over 2,600 residents to create these. And now we'll like your feedback to ensure we accurately represent your voice before we adopt them in December. To view full details and provide your feedback, go to engage.buncombecounty.org/envisionbuncombe. We will send you the final survey and update straight to your inbox. Before we hand it off to our guest speakers, we want to take a moment to discuss upcoming one-year remembrance events. Glenbridge River Park River Blessing. That's going to be on Friday, September 26th through Sunday, September 28th. That is the Glenbridge River Park at 77 Pinner Road in Arden. Anyone is welcome to offer a blessing and toss flowers into the French Broad River at a time that is most convenient for them while supplies last. Flowers, an example of blessings, will be provided at the river access point. Excuse me. Swannanoa Community Art Show, Friday, September 26th through Sunday, September 28th at 216 Whitson Avenue in Swannanoa. A group of artists living in and around the Swannanoa area gathered and organized to create multiple art responses to the disaster. And a show of their work will debut at the former church turned community center on Whitson Avenue. The opening on Friday will be from 6 to 8 p.m. and hours on Saturday will be 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. and on Sunday will be from 12 to 5 p.m. In Fairview, Still Strong Fairview United on Saturday, September 27th from 9:27 a.m. to 4 p.m. Fairview Community Center, 1357 Charlotte Highway in Fairview. You can join fairviewstrong.org and the Garren Creek community for the Walk to Remember, a day of remembrance and creative resilience, and a vibrant market celebrating all local businesses. Swannanoa River Blessing and Beacon Village gatherings, that's on September 27th. And this will be various locations throughout Swannanoa. At 10 a.m., the Swannanoa community will gather to walk from the main station of the Swannanoa Fire Department in Beacon Village to the Whitson Avenue Bridge for a river blessing and song. Blunt Pretzels at 120 Alexander Place in Swannanoa will offer a free community meal beginning at 11 a.m. And Short Sleeves Coffee at 222 Whitson Avenue will host a free kids art program in coordination with Asheville Creative Arts. That's at 1 p.m. Quick note, the Wilson Avenue Bridge will be closed to vehicular traffic for a short time during the walk. Bee Tree Candlelight Vigil, Saturday, September 27th at 6:30 p.m. This is at the Bee Tree Fire Station, 510 Bee Tree Road in Swannanoa. They will host a candlelight vigil to remember the 43 lives lost in Buncombe County and honor the community's resilience. The library system, they will also offer a number of programs, including resources for resilience, a film screening, historic preservation training, and more. You can see all these events at www.buncombenc.gov. We hope these events will serve as a way to reflect, honor the lives lost, and build your sense of community. Additionally, Buncombe County will host a commemorative breakfast for our county staff, and because of this, non-emergency and non-essential offices will have a delayed opening on Wednesday, September 24th. All county offices will open at 10 a.m., and all libraries will open at 11 a.m. Over the past year, it has been Buncombe County's honor to be trusted to bring you information through these briefings, and is also a big step to close this chapter of our response. Before I hand it off, I want to say that we are here for you, and just not now, but for the long journey ahead. We are part of this community, and we're so honored, and we're dedicated to serving it. So thank you. And now we'll hear from Jonathan Knipe, Town Manager, Town of Biltmore Forest.
Good morning. On behalf of the Mayor and Board of Commissioners, the citizens of Biltmore Forest, and town staff, please let me offer my sincere thanks and appreciation to all those who helped the town's recovery from Helene. The list is long and my time today brief, but I want to thank a few specific organizations, agencies, and individuals. As we approach the one-year anniversary, my thoughts turn to gratitude and appreciation for the emergency responders, police, firefighters, EMTs, public works employees, and all local government employees in the region who stepped up when called upon. In Biltmore Forest, this included our police officers, public works employees, administrative staff, local governments and police departments from across the state, as well as many friends and family members of employees. Countless volunteers showed up with chainsaws, water, food, communication systems, and other supplies. We are eternally grateful for their efforts and their role in the town's recovery. This recovery was not possible without the direct and immediate assistance from FEMA and state emergency management employees on the ground. To those individuals who provided the town with quick responses, information, and help, we say thank you. We are thankful for Buncombe County leadership and the emergency management team. These individuals were and remain vital lifelines during the aftermath of the storm and navigating the recovery process. On October 3rd, the town's initial estimate for debris removal was just over 100,000 cubic yards, though we knew that amount would increase. The town completed all debris removal efforts in late August with over 402,000 cubic yards removed from our 3 square miles jurisdiction. This substantial effort was coordinated by Southern Disaster Recovery and led by the team at LCS Restoration, and we are immensely grateful for these companies and their dedicated work for the town. Finally, through partnership with the Biltmore Estate, the town was able to move quickly and set up a temporary debris management site within our town limits. This convenient, accessible location allowed us to begin removal within the first 2 weeks after the storm. We're grateful to the Biltmore Company for their help and assistance, even in the midst of the cleanup and recovery efforts they were undertaking. As the town continues to recover and move forward, we will host a commemoration at our town hall on Saturday, September 27th from 4 to 6:30 p.m. The town will honor the resilience, generosity, and compassion of Biltmore Forest residents and town staff who showed up for each other in both large and small ways, while remembering those in our county and region who experienced loss and those who continue to experience trauma and suffering. The goal for this event is to create a warm, joyful, and reflective time commemorating our collective experience, highlighting the strength of community, and acknowledging the enduring spirit of kindness that emerged in Helene's aftermath. Thank you.
And now I would like to introduce Ryan Cole, Assistant Director, Emergency Services, Buncombe County.
Thank you. It's been my honor and privilege to serve Buncombe County and the residents during this significant event and everything that we have. And we want to thank the community for trusting and supporting our first responders who have been responding to many calls during this event and in many different ways. With having over 5,500 911 calls during the first 48 hours, this event did try our first responders, and they responded impressively with everything that they did. It is Preparedness Month, and we're heading into the peak of hurricane season. We've already seen several hurricanes come towards the coast already, and we have one that's out there now. Please be sure to get 72 hours worth of supplies prepared in your home, and make sure that you have battery-powered radio. We are doing multiple things to prepare for the future response, and we are ready to respond at any need that we have. We're working to bolster our response through requested funding for stream gauges, siren systems, wildfire response and planning, and many other things. Please help us to help you in making sure that you're prepared. Sign up for the emergency alerts at Buncombe County at buncombenc.gov/code red to make sure that you are receiving those responses. One of the things that I remember when we were first doing these briefings was talking about the community and how it was neighbors helping neighbors. The one thing that I want to continue to employ everyone to think about doing is how we can continue helping our neighbors, especially going into wildfire season. We have a lot of homes that might have litter around the homes, and they need that defensible space. Go and help those neighbors create that defensible space around their homes. Make sure your neighbor has 72-hour supplies, and look out for each other. Thank you very much.
I would like to introduce Sheriff Quentin Miller. He's making his way to the podium now.
So, good morning. So it's my honor to be here, and especially my honor to serve the citizens here in Buncombe County. So when I think back and reflecting, I speak to when the Hurricane Helene swept through our community. It left behind more than just damaged roads and downed trees. It tested resiliency and the spirit of Buncombe County. In the days and weeks that followed, neighbors checked on neighbors. First responders worked around the clock. And I just want to pause right here to tell you about the first responders that worked around the clock. I have my personal fire that happened, and I was able to go and visit some of the homes that was devastated by the storm of my deputies. And when I asked my staff, where are the deputies, their response was, Sheriff, they're at work. This is very emotional for me because the fact that they set aside their own personal situations to respond and assist the residents in this county, it's really very touching to me, and I apologize that it's somewhat emotional for me even today. But again, I want you to know that these deputies stood strong, and they continue to stand strong, and their efforts will not go unnoticed because we plan a celebration ourselves, and we'll get back with the exact date. But I want you to know that at the sheriff's office, our mission didn't end with the storm passing. We remain committed to the safety, security, and well-being of every resident as we move forward. This is not only a continuation of recovery efforts, but a renewed promise. We're standing by you. We're standing with you every step of the way. As our community rebuilds stronger and more united than before. I would also like to thank the law enforcement agencies who responded, and especially the North Carolina Sheriff Association for their support throughout this storm and their continued support. So again, thank you.
And now we will hear from Savannah Parrish, Town Manager, Town of Montreat.
Good morning, and thank you for allowing me the opportunity to speak today. Excuse me. As we come together for this final community briefing, I want to take a few moments to reflect on how Montreat has been impacted by Hurricane Helene, how we responded, and how we are moving forward as a community. Though small in size, Montreat experienced significant disruption, damaged roads, debris, and challenges to essential town operations. Our unique topography, such as narrow roads, steep slopes, and waterways, made both immediate response and long-term recovery complex. And like so many of our neighbors across Buncombe County, we felt both the weight of loss and the strength of community during and after the storm. Montreat Public Works and emergency staff worked around the clock in the early days to restore access and assess damage. Debris removal efforts in key corridors has been completed, and we have ongoing monitoring for slope stability and waterway health. We are very happy that we are back in Town Hall and our beautiful building has been restored. And of course, we are participating in FEMA public assistance and hazard mitigation programs to repair and harden our critical infrastructure for future resilience. Our residents, neighbors, Montreat College, and Montreat Conference Center demonstrated remarkable care for one another, providing support, sharing resources, and stepping in where help was needed. Faith communities and volunteers mobilized to help neighbors clear debris and provide comfort during the uncertain early weeks. And I also want to thank all of the law enforcement that responded to Montreat from across the state and really from across the country. So the town continues to prioritize infrastructure safety, especially on steep slopes and stream crossings. We are working with engineering partners on studies to reduce future flood risk and improve emergency response routes. Montreat remains committed to participating in regional recovery and investing in preparedness, and we encourage all residents to stay informed, prepare emergency kits, and sign up for local and county alert systems. On behalf of the town of Montreat, I want to thank Buncombe County, our state and federal partners, our first responders, volunteers, and our residents. Your cooperation, patience, and generosity have made a profound difference in our ability to recover and to heal. While this last year has challenged us, it has also strengthened our resolve and deepened our sense of community. Montreat may be small, but we are part of a strong regional family, and together we've proven that we can face the hardest days with resilience, care, and hope. Thank you for the honor of serving you and for the opportunity to stand with our neighbors as we move forward together.
Thank you, Savannah. Next up, we will hear from Shannon Tuck, Town Manager for the Town of Woodfin.
Good morning. As the speakers before me have so aptly said, we've come a long way since those early days following Hurricane Helene, and we should be proud of what we've accomplished, but we must also acknowledge that there's still a long road ahead. Over the past year, the town of Woodfin has been focused on working with our state and federal partners to support our local community with navigating the process to restore businesses and homes, remove debris from our roads, waterways, and private property, repair infrastructure, and restore our parks. Where we stand today is we're nearing the end of debris removal. Roads and waterways are cleared with only private property debris removal remaining. Our two existing riverfront parks, Silverline Park and Riverside Park, have reopened. Meanwhile, we're preparing bid documents for a full renovation that we hope to begin by the end of the year. Work has resumed on Taylor's Wave and Riverside Park, which were under construction when the storm hit. We estimate Taylor's Wave will be completed in early 2026, with the rest of the park following in about 9 to 12 months later. We've hired a design team to engineer the needed repairs to our road and stormwater systems, and we expect this work to be completed in the next 12 to 24 months. And we're continuing to support our partners at the Woodfin Water Authority as they work to strengthen and enhance their water infrastructure. With the support of state and federal partners, we are making steady progress. However, we know that this support can only take us so far. That's why Woodfin has invested time and effort into envisioning long-term resiliency through the Envision Buncombe Helene Recovery Plan. As part of that effort, we're proud to share that alongside the community of Swannanoa, we've been awarded a Climate Smart Communities Initiative grant to help move key recovery projects forward. We've also received a $500,000 Great Trails grant, which will help us restore and expand the trails and amenities in Riverside Park, enhancing not only the park, but also our ability to withstand future storms. We continue to pursue additional resources with one goal in mind, not just to restore what was lost, but to build a stronger, healthier, more resilient Woodfin. There's a lot to be optimistic about, but it's important to be realistic. Recovery is a marathon, not a sprint. It will take time. And our elected officials and staff are committed to this effort. Before closing, I want to express our deepest gratitude to our first responders whose calm and steady presence helped guide us through the crisis, to our public works team who put in long, demanding hours clearing debris and assisting residents, to our administrative staff who put in long, demanding hours and stepping far outside their normal roles, operating trash trucks, distributing food and water, sharing crucial information, and more. To our town leaders who didn't hesitate to roll up their sleeves and get out in the community and offer assistance where they could. To the many volunteers from near and far who came to help when we needed it most. And finally, to the residents of Woodfin who cared for each other, looked after their neighbors, and reminded us all what it means to be a true community. You are our greatest resource. On behalf of the town of Woodfin, thank you. And as a token of our appreciation for the staff, volunteers, and partners who stood by us, and to mark the one-year anniversary of Hurricane Helene, we invite you to join us for a community gathering on September 18th from 4 to 6 p.m. with more details to follow. Thank you.
Next, we will hear from John Coffey, Fire Chief, Town of Black Mountain.
Good morning, everybody. I'm going to reiterate because I feel we cannot say it enough, but I would like to express a heartfelt thanks to not only the staff at Black Mountain that responded for the citizens of Black Mountain, but a heartfelt thanks to all the local, county, state, and out-of-state responders that assisted during Helene. Your courage and dedication is truly inspiring, and we couldn't have done it without the collaboration of everybody. I would also like to recognize the heroic efforts of the Black Mountain residents, helping their neighbors, and the compassion and support shown by citizens within and beyond Buncombe County. Our gratitude to all of you will never be fully repaid. As some of my friends said earlier, emergencies can happen at any time: severe weather, wildfires, power outages, and other unexpected all-hazard emergencies. Being prepared saves lives. That was a proven fact during the hurricane. Here's how you can be resilient during an emergency. Make a plan. Know how you will communicate and where you will meet if you're separated from family and friends, and where you're going to stay during an evacuation if it's required. Build a kit. Keep water, food, medication, flashlights, and an emergency weather radio and other essentials to sustain you for at least 3 days. Stay informed. Sign up for local alerts and follow trusted news and emergency service social media outlets. And last is get involved. Check on your neighbors, especially the elderly ones and those with special needs. And just remember, preparedness is everyone's responsibility. So take steps today to keep yourself and your family and community safe. Lastly, I'd like to let everyone know that in Black Mountain on Saturday, September 27th, the town of Black Mountain will mark the one-year anniversary of Tropical Storm Helene with a special community tree giveaway in front of Town Hall between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. This event will honor the community's resilience and commemorate the progress made in recovery and take tangible steps to restore the tree canopy lost during the storm. At least 200 free and native trees will be distributed to residents, complete with planting and care instructions to ensure long-term growth. Along with highlights to this event, there will also be, alongside with the tree distribution, there will be stormwater and floodplain information, recovery and resilience updates, community reflection, and a program of speakers from our mayor and council members, as well as town manager Josh Harold and assistant town manager Jessica Trotman. Again, thank you. Thank you to everyone in this room. Thank you to all of our community partners. We would not have been successful without you. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. While Mayor Manheimer could not join us today, she did record a message that we will share with you now.
Hello, my name is Esther Manheimer. I'm mayor of the city of Asheville, and welcome to the final community briefing from Hurricane Helene. This has been a very long year, and I think it's important for us to take yet another moment to thank all those that have worked so hard for our community. All of the city staff, all of the county staff, the state level folks that have been here helping us, the federal folks that have been here helping us, as well as all the people from around the country that have come into our community to help us with every possible need that we had during the storm and continue to have. We wouldn't be able to be where we are today without all of those folks working so hard for us. But I think the biggest thanks goes out to those of you watching this right now who stepped up and helped a neighbor, helped a friend, helped a stranger, someone you didn't even know. And I know many of you did things that you didn't even think you could do, you didn't even think were possible before this storm event happened. That speaks to how resilient and robust our community is, how much we love and care for one another. And it tells me that we're going to be there for each other for the long haul until we're fully recovered from Hurricane Helene. So keep up the great work you've been doing. Take a moment to give yourself a pat on the back, maybe a little break. And just remember that we're all in this together, and we will keep on working until our community is fully recovered.
Thank you for that, Mayor Manheimer. And at this time, I'm pleased to introduce Deborah Campbell, City Manager, City of Asheville.
Thank you. Good morning. And again, my name is Deborah Campbell, and I have the pleasure of serving as the City Manager of Asheville. As usual, I'd like to start my remarks by thanking each and every one of you, the Mayor and Asheville City Council, for their continued guidance and leadership, our county, state, and federal partners, nonprofits, and especially our city staff who continue to support our recovery efforts. Today marks 341 days since Tropical Storm Helene impacted our community. So we're going to start with an update from Clay Chandler, the city's Public Information Officer for the Water Resources Department, who will give us an update on our water system recovery efforts. I will then return and close out our update. Clay.
Thank you, Ms. Campbell. So in keeping with tradition, We'll start with the latest turbidity reading at North Fork. As of 8 o'clock this morning, the reservoir's raw water turbidity was 0.38, which is what it was pre-Helene and what it's been for the past several months now. We're very thankful for that. The turbidity of treated water, or water that goes through our filtration processes, was 0.05. Again, that's pre-storm level. And that's what it's been since we began treating water in late October of last year. Quick recap, everybody remembers the 36-inch bypass line that Helene destroyed and that we talked about for a few weeks before our partners at T&K Utilities got it connected back to the system. Along with that, we replaced several thousand additional feet of damaged or destroyed water line in time to begin restoring non-potable water service 15 days after Helene. That started on October the 11th. By October 21st, everybody who could receive water in our system had it. Restoring potable water service or drinkable water service came 53 days after a catastrophic weather event, and we are so proud of all the work and all the blood and sweat and tears it took to achieve that milestone. Looking ahead, we have a handful of projects that will make our system more resilient. At the top of that list are permanent treatment solutions for our filters at North Fork and DeBrule treatment facilities. Those are in the design phase as we speak. Another very important resilience project is the transmission main number 3 running out of North Fork, or the alternate bypass is kind of the informal name for that. It's an additional bypass line that will be geographically separate from the current one and will, to the extent possible, avoid the run of the Swannanoa River. The diameter of that new bypass has not been determined, nor has the exact route been laid out, but the design phase will work all of those details out. In addition to those two projects, the repair of the auxiliary spillway at North Fork, the fuse gate that tipped, which almost certainly prevented the failure of the dam at North Fork, that is in the design phase. Actual construction work will start late this fall or in early winter. Design engineers are also working on data gathering in preparation of bid documents for construction to repair the dam at DeBrule and Beatree. Due to the technical nature of those repairs and new data that we've been gathering since Tropical Storm Helene, that project will begin sometime this fall, and again, maybe late winter, depending on things like weather and supply chain and stuff like that. It is extremely important to note that neither of those dams is in danger of failure. Each has been inspected by engineers at Water Resources and at outside agencies and have been found capable of protecting our reservoirs and our customers. On a personal note, the chance to play a small part in recovering from a historic storm has been the most challenging and rewarding era of my professional life. The people who made progress possible from September 27th until today are some of the most dedicated and capable I've ever been around. And like Sheriff Miller shared about his staff, some of our people have dealt with unimaginable circumstances. I'm proud to call them my teammates. I'm more proud to call them my friends. Water systems are a daily miracle, and it takes a big village working around the clock to keep them operational. Lastly, certainly not least, I especially want to thank our customers for their patience and their understanding. We realize that a disruption in water service is inconvenient, to say the least. It disrupts every part of daily life. And our customers have been fantastic with their patience and their understanding. And again, many of whom were dealing with unimaginable circumstances, especially in the immediate aftermath of Helene. Thank you again for having me. It's good to be behind this podium again. I spent a lot of time here last fall. And thank you to everybody who helped me sort of get our message across, because I absolutely could not have done it without them. I'm going to turn it back over to Ms. Campbell.
Thanks, Clay. And I can't thank you and other staff in our Water Resources Department private contractors, federal and state partners, enough for how you all stepped up and did some pretty heroic work to get our water system repaired to the condition that it is today. We know we got a bit of ways to go, but we are making steady progress. Our water system, though, is only one milestone that is noteworthy in our recovery efforts. At this time, I would like to take just a few minutes to share some other milestones and accomplishments. To date, we have, and I want to emphasize the word we, removed nearly 1 million cubic yards of storm debris within the city limits of Asheville, hauled and placed over 27,000 tons of rock to stabilize damaged roadways, launched the temporary activation program to streamline the authorization of quick action, community-led recovery initiatives on public properties, completed damage assessments for the FEMA Public Assistance Program ahead of schedule, which included 92 required site visits with FEMA, established the interdepartmental FAST team who assisted property owners navigating the rebuilding process. 90% of city-owned parks and all greenways have reopened to the public, hosted at no cost to the city a week-long panel of national experts in land use planning, economics, and sustainability from the Urban Land Institute, RULI. Their findings will be drafted into a final report and will be posted to our recovery website at ashevillerecovers.org later this fall. Staff will be reviewing the recommendations and discussing with council the key strategies and recommendations, if any, that should be included and considered to assist in our long-term recovery. In terms of local funding and support, the city has also allocated the following funds to support recovery: $1,624,000 for rental assistance, $750,000 for home repair assistance, $1.3 million for small business grants, $150,000 for artist grants, for a total of approximately $3.8 million to date. But perhaps most inspiring has been the way our neighborhoods have stepped up, from sharing supplies to participating in recovery engagement opportunities to organizing cleanup efforts. You reminded us that recovery is about more than rebuilding structures. It's about caring for one another. The spirit of compassion and connection will carry us through until full recovery. In honor of these community-based efforts, the city is collaborating with the local nonprofit, My Daddy Taught Me That, to sponsor a milestone breakfast on Saturday, September 27th. More details will be posted to the ashevillerecovers.org website next week. There will also be numerous events beginning the week of September 15th, starting with our annual Employee Fun Day to honor and recognize City of Asheville employees. Looking ahead, I want to share some exciting news about the work still to come. First, we are preparing to receive $225 million in Community Development Block Grant Disaster Recovery, also known as CDBG DR funds. This historic investment will allow us to rebuild and strengthen our community in meaningful ways, including $125 million for resilient infrastructure, $52 million to support economic recovery, and $31 million dedicated to housing. This funding represents an opportunity to build back stronger and more resilient. At the same time, we are already making progress with other major recovery projects, and I'm excited to share the city is moving forward in the selection of design firms so work can begin on the following projects: French Broad Riverfront Parks, Azalea Parks and Infrastructure, and the Municipal Golf Course. This is just a small snapshot of projects on the horizon and shows that Asheville is not just recovering. We are building back better. As we rebuild, we are also committed to learning from this experience and strengthening our ability to respond to future storms. To facilitate that learning, the city has partnered with Persis Consulting to complete a comprehensive after-action review. This after-action review captures what worked well, identifies areas for improvement, and ensures that the lessons that Tropical Storm Helene strengthen our emergency operations plan and guide us toward becoming even more prepared and resilient. An overview of the report's findings will be presented to the City Council at the next council meeting on September 9th. Council's Public Safety Committee will do a more thorough review and deep dive into the report's findings and recommendations. These recommendations will shape how the city will train, coordinate, and invest in our emergency response efforts moving forward. In closing, I want to again extend my deepest gratitude to our community members for your resilience and patience, to our partners for stepping in with critical support, and to our city employees who have gone above and beyond, often working long hours away from their own families. As has been noted, recovery is a journey, and while there is still work ahead, we have already accomplished so much together. I'm confident in what we will continue to do as we move forward, stronger, safer, and more connected than ever. To stay up to date with all recovery efforts that are to come, visit www.ashevillerecovers.org and subscribe for updates. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Campbell. And now I have the honor of introducing Colonel Brad Morgan with the United States Army Corps of Engineers.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Colonel Brad Morgan, Commander of the Wilmington District, U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. Day 341, I think, is what was shared previously. So I've had the honor and the privilege of leading the Corps of Engineers support and response since that day zero. Probably been forward deployed. My family and kids are back in Wilmington on the coast. Probably 300 of those 340 days have been out west over the last year. So I'm here at the request of the city, at the request of the county, at the request of the state, and operating here at the direction of FEMA. 22 separate mission assignments in total. 8 of those remain active to this day. I'm not going to question the numbers shared previously on debris from Ms. Averill or Ms. Deborah, so we'll go with what they shared earlier. But just to kind of do a recap as we do some reflection. I remember trying to push out here, roads closed, unable to gain access out of Raleigh in the early days. We had teams going out doing assessments on infrastructure. A lot of those initial assessments were binary. Is it there? Yes. Is it not there? No. And then doing detailed assessments thereafter. And then coming out doing temporary emergency power, which we did a few installations here within the county and the city as well. And that mission then progressed to one of the longest standing missions, a mission that continues regarding debris removal. So still working through that. Private property debris removal is one of the last areas that we're working hard to close out, as well as executing some demolition properties here within the city and the county. So other things that kind of came up throughout the course of others' briefings and updates was the discussions of Beatree and North Fork. Spent a lot of time up there as well with our turbidity reduction systems. Really got to know the Asheville Water Resources Department extremely well. They actually had an office set up for me for about 330 days or so. We're no longer occupying that, but appreciate the partnership and collaboration throughout as we worked on Asheville's water system in support of the greater area. We also did our water treatment facility at the University of North Carolina, Asheville, so that was a pretty quick success, allowed that campus to reopen, get students back for the fall term last year. The Arboretum got that cleaned up fairly quickly last year so they could open before a lot of the Winter Lights Festival, so excited to play a part in that. Supporting the town of Black Mountains with a temporary public works facility we've got finished and they're currently occupying and using. In total, debris removal, 18 counties and 3 cities throughout western North Carolina that the Corps has had the privilege of providing support to. It's been one of the most rewarding and challenging jobs that I've had to do. Rewarding in the sense that it's extremely fulfilling to see a lot of the progress that's been made over the last 300 plus days, 49 weeks. Ms. Deborah spoke about Azalea Park. That was one of the first areas we started doing waterway debris removal from. And to see where it was before we got started and to see where it is now, it's a night and day, huge difference. Proud to support that effort as well. And again, we've had a multitude of Corps of Engineers teammates from all over the globe come out here to support us, whether they're coming out here for 30 days, 45 days. Some of those teammates have been out here almost as long as I have to just deliver on the multitude of missions that we have in support of the citizens of Western North Carolina. So thankful to be a part of it. Sorry that this is my first attendance in your 86th update. Well, I've had other reps that have come in to participate. But again, our work will continue here within the city and the county over the next few weeks, working hard to get the debris removal wrapped up on private properties and those demolitions executed. Just thanks again for trusting the Corps to support you. Obviously, we'll continue to be here for any follow-on plans or studies for flood risk management, any other type of planning assistance to states. Obviously, I still have a regulatory responsibility here within Western North Carolina, so my team will continue to support throughout the Roads and Bridges program, throughout the Emergency Watershed Protection Program. Anything that you need from the Corps of Engineers, we're here to help guide you through that process and help expedite it when and where we can. So again, thanks for the opportunity and thanks for all your support and trust in the Army Corps of Engineers. Thanks. Thank you.
And last but certainly not least, our final speaker, Amanda Edwards, Chair of Buncombe County Commissioners.
Good morning. It was Fred Rogers, the celebrated broadcaster, puppeteer, composer, and minister, who said, "In times of catastrophe, if you look for the helpers, you will know that there is hope." On behalf of the Buncombe County Board of Commissioners, as your chairwoman, I want to take a moment to honor the helpers. Thank you to all of our resident helpers. You demonstrated that we can step up for each other. Thank you to every neighbor who helped a neighbor and every stranger who helped a stranger. Thank you to our county staff, both those serving in their regular emergency roles and those who stepped outside their usual duties to do what was needed during, after, and since Helene hit. You demonstrate your dedication to public service day in and day out. Some of you shared your work with our community during these briefings that were lifelines for our community as we tried to make sense of the unbelievable. County staff, in many instances, are your neighbors, and so many people work behind the scenes and that we don't get to meet them, to know what they did, and to thank them for how they helped us survive and recover. I thank every single one of you now. To our first responders, both local and those who came from all across the country to help us, we are forever grateful. Thank you. FEMA, Army Corps, National Guard, Fire Department of New York, and Texas Emergency Management, we are better because of your direct assistance in our time of need. Thank you. Thank you to our community partners, including the nonprofits that provided much needed basic needs. Thank you to our media, residents, and helpers from outside our region who shared information at a time when it was incredibly vital. While the storm has taken so much from us, it has not claimed our spirit. In most cases, Residents are recovering, they're rebuilding their homes, businesses, and communities. We have not forgotten the 43 people lost to Helene. We honor them publicly while allowing their families their privacy. It is my hope that surviving families will continue to share stories with us and allow us to help their loved ones lived on in our memories. To the folks outside Buncombe County who love and appreciate our home for all the same reasons we do, thank you for your support. We look forward to you returning and visiting us. From Leicester to Swannanoa and all across Buncombe, our towns and businesses are open and welcome you. Over the past year, it has been Buncombe County's honor to deliver information to you through these briefings. Recovery continues, but these briefings are ending. For one last time, thank you for tuning in.
Thanks to all of our speakers today. And now we will transition to the media portion, Q&A portion of the briefing. We have folks on a separate Zoom call and here with us in person today. So we'll go ahead and kick that portion of the briefing off. Justin?
You mentioned a number of resiliency projects. Who is paying for those?
Clay is making his way to the podium.
So we've been in discussions, water resources and city leadership in general, with FEMA for several months about our resiliency needs and sort of making the case to them that why they should, at least fully or partially fund some of those. We feel good about the case that we've made. We've answered every question that FEMA has. We've provided them with every piece of information that they've asked for. So for example, design of the alternate bypass, we are fronting that cost with the hopes that we'll be reimbursed. And it doesn't necessarily have to be FEMA either. We've had discussions with EPA at the federal level, with DEQ at the state level. We don't know exactly what the funding combination will look like in the end, whether it's all FEMA, whether it's FEMA, EPA, DEQ, whether it's some combination of those three. But we do feel really good about the case that we've made about the critical need for those projects.
Clay, while you're there, John Boyle with Asheville Watchdog, I feel like I have to ask you questions.
You have to, John. Yeah,
Wrap,
it wouldn't be a briefing.
wrap things up. You mentioned the city picking up the initial cost on that. Do you know what that cost is?
On the alternate bypass, that initial cost is right around $10 million.
Okay. And I know you mentioned earlier that the design, it's in the design phase. Do you have any rough ETA on when y'all would like to have that done?
Today.
Yeah,
Yeah.
obviously.
I mean, design for something like that, I mean, you're talking about several thousand feet of water line that has to go over a mountain. There's some right-of-way and easement issues involved in that. And again, the exact route has not been determined. So that design process will take several months at the least. It could take as much as a year and a half. This is a really good example of any kind of repair, upgrade, whatever, to water systems not happening quickly and not happening cheaply. That's just kind of the reality that we deal with on every size project, big or small.
Right. And a somewhat similar question on the fuse gates. Do y'all have a cost estimate on that and an ETA?
I think the cost estimate on that is right around about the same price tag, $9 to $10 million total to get it rebuilt, and that's going to have to be rebuilt on site. That fuse gate, they can't build it somewhere else and then truck it in. Work should start late fall, early winter, And once it does, the build-out period on that should be about 9 months to a year.
Similar scenario as far as the city picking up the tab initially and then hoping to be reimbursed?
That's correct, yeah.
Okay.
And I
All
can't
right.
remember, John, if that's under public assistance from FEMA or hazard mitigation. I can get that information back to you. I just can't remember off the top of my head.
And I saw an email the other day talking about kind of vulnerability of the system. And it seems like, with downed trees, the watershed being affected, it kind of feels like the system's more vulnerable than ever. Is that a fair assessment, or how would you gauge the vulnerability of the system?
I would say that's a completely fair assessment. We have the system pretty much put back together the way it was before Helene. The difference is our watershed is completely different. We have a ton of debris in the watershed, and it's vegetative debris, right? It's trees, logs, vegetation, all of that. It's not any kind of synthetic debris, artificial debris, nothing like plastic or metal or anything like that, because we own our watershed and we keep people out of it. It's not downstream of any kind of industrial or agricultural development. And so the kind of debris we're dealing with in the watershed is strictly vegetative. But that's still, during even moderate weather event, would put our treatment and filtration systems at risk. That's the number one thing we're dealing with. Number two, our reservoirs are different. Now, turbidity at North Fork is back to where it was pre-Helene. At DeBrule in Beatree, it hasn't quite gotten there yet, just because that's a much steeper valley there. We had a lot of landslides during the storm, a lot more debris as far as volume in the reservoir. And so, yeah, we are very, very vulnerable. It would not take an event the intensity of Helene to put our treatment and filtration systems at risk. And that is like the top line point we have made to our federal partners the last several months. We are back together, but we are very vulnerable.
Okay. All right. Thank you, and thanks for all your
Sure.
service during this period.
Next question? Go for it.
City Manager Campbell, those CDBG block grants, what is the timeline on getting that money out?
City Manager making her way to the podium.
Thank you for the question. We have completed all of the necessary kind of things, requirements to begin to issue funding. We anticipate, hopefully by mid to late fall, that we will be able to disperse those dollars.
Okay. No questions in the chat. It's the report that I'm getting. Some of our speakers are leaving the room, so we'll go ahead and wrap this briefing up. And again, thank you to everyone who helped us out here today to facilitate the 86th community briefing. So a reminder that while we are ending these briefings, we are still here for you. The Helene Resource Center, located at 94 Cox Avenue, is open Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. You can also call the One Buncombe Call Center at 828-250-6100 with any questions you might have about HMGP, disaster case management, private roads and bridges. As a reminder, the Hazard Mitigation Grant Program applications are open until the end of October. Disaster case management, private roads and bridges. Private roads and bridges is now accepting reimbursement applications. Renew and See home repair and replacement program and more applications are still open for these programs. To stay up to date on Helene recovery, you can visit buncombenc.gov/Helene. You can sign up for alerts by texting BC Alerts to 99411. And follow our social media pages on Facebook and Instagram. Thank you for your grace, compassion, grit, and for partnering with us to get information to those who need it the most. Please take good care of yourselves and your neighbors, and thank you again for tuning in.